position. PJ Touring comes in the number 6 jersey. He replaces Carstens, who scored a brace of tries in that encounter against the Leopards 2 weeks ago in George. He'll be assisted by Nkosi Nofuma and the experienced veteran in Sean Robenheimer, who starts in his 101st game for the SWT Eagles. 100 of those games, he's never been substituted. He played the full 80 minutes. Wonder if he'll make it 101 this afternoon. Dion Carstens, JP Duvenacher, an experienced halfback pairing, while A.D. Jacobs starts in his 51st game. Edwin Suss and Kirsten Haynes will combine in the centers, while Andre Manuel and Gene Phillips are also elevated from the bench in place of the man of the match in that game, which was Darren Fortain in the 15 jersey. Taking a look at the home side, well, they're very much unchanged from the side that beat the Kenya Simbas by 66 points to 33 right on this very ground last week. Stefan Dayaga, Dandre Delport and Buhleno Jekwa are the front row combination. Watch out for Opa Mohoje. He's a Springbok in this side, still making his way back from a series of injuries. Is Tebogo Opa Mohoje in the 7 jersey. Jaywin Juries and Duan Pretorius are also a very experienced halfback pairing. Watch out also for Granwell Mateus, who scored 5 tries against the Kenyan Simbas last week. Out come the visitors from George, led by the inspirational captain in Sean Robenheimer. It's really wonderful pictures that you are seeing there as the veterans from the Griffons, sort of a reunion weekend for them here at the Griffon Stadium. Number 6 in Jean-Jacques Pretorius leads the Griffons out in his 50th appearance for his union. And as customary, the captain follows. Juan Pretorius leading out the Griffons for the start of this encounter. Really looking forward to this one because it's laden with some great South African talent on both sides of these two sides. Must mention as well Hlumelo Ndudula, the replacement scrum half for the SWT Eagles, played Varsity Cup for Wits this season. He'll surely be looking to move up into the senior ranks of South African rugby. Kanya Ngusane also involved in this SWT Eagles side. There's a moment of silence is observed. Our referee for this afternoon is the experienced Griffin Colby. He'll be ably assisted by Slow Luana and Yaku Ackerman as the 2 assistant referees this afternoon here at Griffin's Stadium. Oh, the home side will be playing from left to right on your screens in their traditional purple jerseys, while the visitors in the SWT Eagles will play from right to left on your screens in their traditional colors. Griffin Colby says, let's get underway as JP Duvenacher gets us underway. Down for his opposite number in Pretorius, who hoofs it very, very well for the first line out of this encounter. He's stayed down as Duvenacher. Looks like he's been hit late as the Griffons captain, still writhing on the ground. They wouldn't want to lose him so early on in this encounter. Is Duan Pretorius. Does look in a fair bit of a discomfort. There's Duan Pretorius. of the first long stoppage of this encounter, less than a minute in. It looked like one of the following players from the Eagles had followed through and charged down the kick of Duan Pretorius, but it's good to see him back up on his feet rather gingerly as the veterans fly off. Does take a bit of time to warm up these days is Duan Pretorius. The first line out of the afternoon goes to the Eagles, and it's Stefan Leonard who finds the jump from Arman Grobler. Leonard is peeling off, but he's lost it forward. So they were under advantage, were the Eagles. Referee Griffin Colby says some infringement in the line out. Good start for the Eagles, who will undoubtedly kick this one forward into territory where they can strike. Jean Willemse. Big man is Jean Willemse. Takes some putting down. Over 100 kgs is the fullback. Packs a really good boot on him is Jean Willemse. George Bourne. Leonard. For Alexander, but it's pinched away by the Griffons. And in comes the left winger and Weyer. Juris is asking his forwards to go the blind side to open up a better angle for the relieving kick. Juris with the box kick. Hasn't gone for too deep, and it's forward from winger, but it's lost forward by the Eagles. Out for Juris, it's a big pass, and Dominic Smith is up from fullback. He's lost it forward, is Dominic Smith. Well, a couple of errors either way to start this encounter. Certainly frustrate the two coaching staffs, who are led by Anton Moorman, the head coach of the SWT Eagles, assisted ably by Clement Lewis, who is the forwards coach. Of course, the Springbok in Zane Kirshner, who is the backline coach of this SWT Eagle side. Jacques Juris and Denzel France and Wynand Pienaar will also be a picture of frustration in the Griffons coaching box.
Give yourself a gap. Give yourself a gap, please, okay? Give yourself a gap.
The first scrum of the afternoon, and referee Griffin Colby's laying down the law pretty early to the front rowers, asking them to make sure that there's a sufficient gap between them.
Bye. Sit.
It's gone down, and the first penalty, second penalty rather, of the afternoon goes the way of the Eagles again. Decisions here for Sean Robenheimer, who points to the posts. It's well within Jean Willemse's range. And, number 15, I mentioned before, has a booming boot on him as Jean Willemse. Well, that scrum was rather unsettled from the get-go. You could hear from referee Griffin Colby for them to get the gap between the two front rowers. Just look at the Griffons slightly overextending and just dropping the bind almost immediately with the front rowers from the home side in Stefan de Jager and Buhleno Jekwa. Jean Willemse, the first opportunity to find points. Struck it well, no problem with the distance. He turned almost immediately, did Jean Willemse. And it's through the posts for the opening points of the half. They belong to the visitors in the SWT Eagles. And they're up by 3 points to 0. Juan Pretorius will get us underway again. And forward is the Eagles, but they've lost the forward, and it's picked up by the 8th man in Soso Kakalashe. Juris. Big collision between Michael Bernardi and the home side get their first penalty of the afternoon. Big collision in front there. And Michael Bernardi looks like he's come off worst off. But, he's slowly gotten up to his feet, is Michael Bernardi. And that will be an opportunity here for the Griffons through the boot of Jaywin Juris to try and level things up. Right in front is the attempt from Jaywin Juris. It's customary pre-kick routine is Jaywin Juris. Couple of steps and strikes it nicely. Makes no mistake is Jaywin Juris, and we all square at the Griffon Stadium at 3 apiece. It's another wobbly start from both sides as they're exchanging penalties and discipline letting them down slightly in the opening 10 minutes of this encounter. Duvenacher gets us underway, up into his opposite number again in Juan Pretorius. Juris organizing the line. Finds an able carry in Dandre Delport. Stays on his feet as the hooker. Makes valuable meters. Juris down the blind to the 50 cap man in Jean-Jacques Pretorius. Really effective exit strategy from the Griffons, but it's not a big kick from Jaywin Juris, and the SWT Eagles will be very much pleased with the territory advantage that they've gained here. Just outside the 22-meter area of the Griffons. Stefan Leonard, it's a big throw for him. Definitely need to find a jumper. He's already lost one line out so far. He's going to lose this one again as he's overcooked his throw. And his opposite number in Dandre Delport cleans up. Juris, Smith. And it's a very good kick that from Dominic Smith. And you can hear from the referee's mic that referee Griffin Colby says that ball was touched. And it'll be a feed for the Griffons at line-out time. It's a very good kick from Dominic Smith. Under enormous pressure from the chase of the Eagles. Had a really good game was Dominic Smith last weekend against the Kenyan Simbas. He was very much one of the orchestrators and the creative players for the Griffons on their way to very much a thumping of the Kenyan national side. 66 points to 33. Was ably assisted and connecting very well with his right winger in Granville Mateus, who scored 5 last week on Saturday here. Well, much of these players will be looking to make sure that they put in the required performances here in the Carling Currie Cup First Division. You never know. Maybe some of those scouts are watching on the SuperSport Schools app. Try and snap up A couple of these players to the Premier Division of this Carling Currie Cup. Some running repairs for Duan Pretorius to that leg that troubled him in the first minute. Looks like he'll continue as the captain. Delport taken down by Nako Bernardi.
Two receivers. Two receivers.
Well, it's
Two receivers. Two receivers, man. That guy in the back, guy made contact.
it's very unprofessional from the Eagles. They had two receivers on that occasion from that line out. Griffon Colby's trying to explain the situation to the visitors from George. Can only have one receiver at that line out time. Must always nominate one person who is going to receive the ball. Will the Griffons opt for a scrum from that short end penalty? Joan Juries to feed. Steady, and that's a second shove from the Griffons. And the referee's arm is out for advantage. Out for Juries. Veyers in the line from the left wing. They'll go all the way back to the scrum penalty. It's a really good second shove from the Griffons, who had already conceded a scrum penalty, which Jean Willemse had to convert it for the first points of the game this time, making sure that they make their presence felt here on home soil. That's Stefan de Jager and Dandri Delport and Buhleno Chekwa. Really good opportunity here now for the home side into the opposition 22 with an attacking line out. Andre Delport up to receive was Atenko Siketani. The rumble forward. He peeled off to the left, but referee Griffon Colby says it was the same wall. The Eagles have done well to defend this, but it's going to come back for Jaywin Juries. Juries, Pretorius, way into the line. Matthijs trying to shrug a couple of tackles was Granville Matthijs, but he's spilled that backwards. Hodge gone backwards, have the Griffons. September is tackled behind the advantage line. They've lost a good considerable meters of the Griffons. And Dominic Smith's attempted drop goal is very much wayward, and it's going to go dead. It was great maul defense from the Eagles because it was an ominous position for the Griffons to try and strike. But it was very much disjointed from the home side. And they lost considerable ground. Duvenacher will want to boot this one as far downfield as possible from this 22-meter dropout. Will be fielded by Veya for his captain Pretorius. He loses his footing as Pretorius manages to make some good ground though. Jean-Jacques Pretorius is taken back. It's good defense so far from the Eagles. Bernardi, he makes a very good carry, but it's ripped from his possession. Presence of mind from Dion Carstens as he boots that downfield. Doring, he's asked to kick it out, and he obliges as the left winger in Gershwin Veya. It's good territorial gain, that again for the Eagles because they find themselves back inside the half of the Griffons. But, it's very much disjointed from both sides. Both sides not able to build phases in the first 20 minutes of this encounter. It's a good take from Alexander. Out for Carstens. To Sean Robenheimer, the captain. 38 years old is the captain. Duvenacher, that's a very good kick. As men chasing that, and Smith is under pressure, does well to stay on his feet. Oh, it's very well done from the fullback. And the kick from Keanu Fers is decent considering the pressure. It's very well done from the Griffons. The fullback and Dominic Smith, who had the presence of mind to make sure that he got up again and waited for the arriving support from Keanu Fers. He's still not out of the woods, are the Griffons, because it's the Eagles who have yet another attacking line-out. It's a very good take that from the big lock forward in Armand Grobler. Went sideways initially, now it's gathering good momentum. They've asked to be used. Carstens decides to carry himself. Fuma, Alexander, towering figure of Ian Alexander. Carstens is digging it out. Sass, oh, he's tackled very well, is Sass. And it's turnover ball for the Griffons.
Going forward, purple ball.
It's a really good defensive effort from the Griffons this time around.
Ball stuck.
Well, Sass was looking for the inside run of his left winger and A.D. Jacobs coming in, but he decided to hold on to that ball, but a really good hit on him. Made him spill the ball. And, that's why we still have an ensuing scrum here.
Crouch.
There's a good carry in midfield from the captain and Sean Robenheimer, and then it looked like a really good option from JP Duvenacher to hit kick forward. And it was a good chase from his fellow backline members, but the presence of mind from Dominic Smith to stay on his feet long enough for Keanu Fers to arrive and boot that into safety. Really good work from the Griffons. Well, there's problems at scrum time for both of these sides. It looks like unable to get it settled very quickly. Referee Griffin Colby's showing a lot of patience to both sides. Finally comes in from Jaywin Juris. Try to shove it forward, the Griffons, they do. And they get the penalty. Really good energy from the Griffons pack. That's their second penalty at scrum time. And you can see from the back, the eighth man, Soso Kakalashe, urging his front rowers to go forward. He's showing a little bit of an upper hand, are the Griffons at scrum time at the moment. I want to use that as an attacking threat. Maybe they can get some points heading into first 30 minutes of this first half. The problem sometimes for them, particularly in this first 20 minutes, has been cohesion. It's a good throw for Matenkosi. Ketani, Akalashe, he's hit hard. It's quick ball for the Griffons, though. It's Opa Mohoje adding his experience. Juris goes the reverse side. Pretorius in from the line is Smith. Vaya. He's tackled in a really good tackle is the left winger, and it's a great work from the Eagles who come up with that ball.
At least on his feet, the ball, only one.
A lot of protest from Duan Pretorius, but referee Griffin Colby was right on the spot to make that call. It's good defense from the Eagles. They didn't panic as the Griffons went wide on that second phase, trying to exploit some holes out wide. Gene Willems's kick hasn't found a great deal of distance. They'll have a throw into the line is Stefan Leonard. Up for Alexander. He's impeded is Alexander, and the Griffons come away with it. Man over the ball again from the Eagles, and it's spilt on the side, and it comes to the way of the Eagles. Good kick from Carstens, but he's kicked it out onto the full. There's the scrum off. It's messy at the breakdown for both sides. There goes and gotten a reprieve did the Griffons at line out time as Stefan Leonard had missed the jump of Ian Alexander. But they just couldn't tidy it up. And the ensuing ruck meant that the Eagles could put pressure. It's great to see some of the veterans from this part of the world who had played for the Griffons many moons ago in support of the new generation.
Oh, ball!
Bernardi takes it up. That's at the back for Delport.
It's to the middle.
Griffin Colby's asked him to use it once.
Going down by himself. No, leave it down for.
It's down for Juries for September to carry. It's met by Nofuma. Juries. This time it's Keanu Fers. Good tackle from Sean Robenheimer. Juries is asking them to come around. Marco Bernardi. He's met well in the tackle by Nofuma. Driven back by the Eagles. Short for Ketan, and he's lost it forward. JP Duvanacher now spots a bit of space, and he puts a really good kick downfield. Veya's under pressure. It's in for Dominic Smith. Well, they did well, did Veya and Smith. And it's a very good kick that from Gershwin Veya to relieve what would have been an incredible amount of pressure on the Griffin side. They didn't panic between himself and Dominic Smith. As cool as you like. And the presence of mind from Gershwin Veya to know that he had the better advantage in terms of the angle with his left boot. A number of injuries from both sides as Ngosi Nofuma receiving some attention. The 7th jersey for the Eagles. Although a couple of school trials that happened before the kickoff of this Carling Currie Cup First Division match. Or of under 13s, under 14s, under 15s were in action. Select a Free State side that will compete in the various age group provincial competitions in about a month's time. Out for Leonard. Looking for support is Stefan Leonard. Carstens, Duvenacher, Sass. Into the line is Gene Willemse. He's a big man. Gene Willemse takes quite a number of men to put him down. Carstens. Duvenacher, shaped to kick, but realized he was under a bit of pressure. Takes it forward. Carstens. Kosino Fuma puts his head down.
Clear release, please. Penalty. Clear release, clear release.
Well, the Griffons weren't releasing
Take a release.
Fuma on the ground there before they went for the ball. In fact, it's JP Touring, or PJ Touring, who had carried that ball up for the Eagles. Well, Sean Robenheimer's noticed that it's been a very much fragmented period of play for the man from George. He's trying to settle everybody and has asked Gene Willemse to have an attempted goal from the ensuing penalty. It's about a 45-meter kick. And the angle's pretty much straight for Gene Willemse. Distance probably shouldn't be a problem. He's got a big boot on him. It'll be a matter of direction.
Go.
Willemse to regain the lead again. It's a good strike. It's coming down, and the referee's assistants raise their flag, and it's 6 points to 3 to the visitors, the SWT Eagles, with 2 penalties from the boot of Gene Willemse. Oh, that was that penalty. They weren't releasing PJ Touring on the ground before they went for the ball. It looked like Dandre Delport, the hooker. Pretorius gets us underway again. Down for Duvenacher, who's shaped to put in a big cutout pass, but they've lost it forward. Have the Eagles space now for the Griffons with September. Juries to the front rowers in Buhleno Jekwa. He's ripped it as Eddie Jacobs. They'll come back for the initial knock-on from the Eagles. Well, handling's been another issue for both sides. They haven't really gotten any rhythm into their play. But this could be a great opportunity for the home side here, just outside the 22-meter area of the SWT Eagles, to use that booming scrum that they've used to great effect so far this afternoon. Maybe they can put the Eagles under enormous pressure and find the first try of the afternoon. They've set up nicely either side with a split with Duan Pretorius and Dominic Smith. Fullback is up into the line on the blind side. Try to shove it forward. The referee's arm is out again for advantage. Juries is out for Pretorius. Well, you'd imagine that maybe the referee will look to go to his pocket here. There's 3 consecutive scrum penalties. But, new advantage for players not rolling. Mohoje rumbles forward. There's a bit of argy-bargy between those players. It's a bit of friendly banter.
Speaker number 3. Just be careful. Just be careful. You've got 2 penalty advantages. I can easily overturn it if it starts to stick. Okay, speak to him.
What they're asking for discipline is referee Griffin Colby. They'll opt for the first
Number 3, folding in.
penalty from the scrum. And
you got the penalty. We're going to start things now.
there's opportunity here for Jaywin Juries to level things up again. Well, Griffon Colby showing a lot of lenience towards the Eagles, especially at scrum time, because they've conceded 3 consecutive penalties. One would wonder how long before he has a final warning to Sean Robenheimer. In the meantime, Jaywin Juris has pretty much an easy kick. He turns straight away. And we all square yet again at the Griffon Stadium with 6 points apiece, with Jaywin Juris and Gene Willemse exchanging penalties, 2 each from the boot of Jaywin Juris and Gene Willemse. JP Duvenacher will get us underway yet again. Let's kick that deep into the hands of Opa Mahoje. It's taken nicely by A.D. Jacobs. September's rumbled forward. Jean-Jacques Pretorius now, the 50th. Dominic Smith sends it downfield. It's fielded by his opposite number, Gene Willemse, who let loose that cannon right boot. Has found a good touch finder. Don Pretorius will go quickly into Dominic Smith. Looked like he was going to settle for a counter attack was Dominic Smith, but it looks like he'll kick this one dead. And indeed it rolls all the way over the dead ball line. And it's a territorial advantage and territorial gain for the SWT Eagles, as they'll go all the way back into the half of the Griffons for a scrum. Well, it's humid here in Welkom.
You were fine, Alcon, let's go.
A couple of men who are on their haunches.
Well, that's why you got the penalty.
Referee Griffon Colby is very much aware of some of those
If it's a neck injury, we've got to go, okay?
tactics.
So somebody's lying here. Let's go, Jay, let's go.
Trying to urge both sides to keep up with the pace of the game. It's very humid for an autumn's afternoon.
Let's be strong, okay? Thank you. Crouch!
Temperatures have risen slightly. It's about 23 degrees now in Welkom. Having started the match at around 20 degrees Celsius. Another area where the Eagles need to sort out very quickly, as they've struggled evidently at scrum time.
Crouch!
Crouch is the call from referee Griffon Colby.
Sit!
And from Dion Carstens, he wants to get this out as quickly as possible. As the second shove comes in from the Griffons, he does manage to get it out. Edwin Suss with a really good chip. Oh, it's almost gathered by the following run from the right winger and Andre Manuel. But it evades the on-rushing Andre Manuel. He's already played Premier Division of the Carling Currie Cup as Andre Manuel for the colours of the Western Province, just up the road from George in Cape Town. We're looking to make sure that they get him into the game as quickly as possible. Delport finds Mahoje.
One stop!
He has to use it once. It's not going anywhere. Delport finds Juris.
Inside.
His kick is fielded by Manuel into Gene Willemse. He'll send the customary Gary Owen. Looks like it's a little bit too deep. And Duan Pretorius, presence of mind to know where he is on the field, calls the mark. His kick is not out, and it's Gene Willemse again who send it up into the sky. It looks like that's going to go out onto the full, and indeed it does. This time it's a territorial gain for the home side, the Griffons. Well, both sides aren't finding the rhythm, so the one tactic that they will try and go to is the boot. But that also looks like it's been a little bit erratic from both sides, as a couple of aimless kicks have been sent down either side of the field. Mohoje fields nicely from the throw of Delport. That's been collapsed by the Eagles, and advantage being played. September looks to use that advantage. Delport, Kagalashe with a big carry. Juries, bit of rhythm now for the Griffons. Matthijs stepped into touch as Granville Matthijs. They'll go all the way back for the advantage. It's Nkosi Nofuma that's been called as the culprit on that occasion. Who have brought down that maul from the Griffons. Jaywin Juries will look to put the Griffons into the lead for the first time this afternoon. It's a little bit further than his two previous attempts, which were successful. It's his most difficult kick of the afternoon. Juries for the lead. He struck it nicely. He's looking at it with interest, and the assistance flags go up. The Griffons hit the front for the first time by 9 points to 6 against the SWT Eagles. Well, that penalty was rather careless from Nkosi Nofuma. It was set by the Griffons, and look at him just there. He's falling and taking out the legs of the Griffons players. It's a very good take from A.D. Jacobs from the restart, but is manhandled by the Springbok in Opa Mohoje, and the Griffons have the possession of the ball again. Oh, there were hands in that ruck from Granville Matthijs, and he undoes all the great work that his forwards had done, especially Opa Mohoje, who put in a dominant tackle and then had the presence of mind to get back up onto his feet.
Past the player, and he was in front and picked up the ball. So, yeah.
It's a clear explanation from referee Griffin Colby. We're entitled to stay pushing forward and driving forward as long as they didn't use their hands in that situation, which Granville Matthijs wasn't aware of. It's an arm wrestle at the moment at Griffin Stadium, as Gene Willemse will surely slot this one over almost a minute after Jaywin Juries had put the Griffons into the lead. And a difficult angle for Willemse. Takes his time as usual. Gene Willemse strikes it well, turns almost immediately, and we're all square again at 9 points apiece. Now there's Granville Matthijs trying to put that ball up from a ruck that was formed. But the work from Opa Mohoje to hit A.D. Jacobs, who had taken the ball out of the sky very nicely, and drive through was very exemplary for Granville Matthijs. Put hands into that ruck. The restart from Jaywin Juries has kicked it dead. And the Eagles will have a midfield scrum. Well, yet to see a really good, consistent passage of play between these two sides. A passage of play where they are able to string a couple of phases together uninterrupted by unforced errors such as handling and or offsides or penalties.
Set.
Carstens needs to get this ball out pretty early. He's digging at his Sean Robenheimer, gets a really good ball. Sass now. It's a good wrap for Edwin Sass. Carstens, Duvenacher takes matters into his own hands. Can the Eagles put in a couple of phases? It's a good carry from Stefan Groenlich. John Carstens, it's slow ball for him. He goes the short side, puts in a dink over. But there weren't people that were chasing that. Veya puts in a really good left boot. Well, the communication is very much disjointed from the Eagles. I think Kosi Nofuma was actually asking Dion Carstens for a carry and not a dink over the defense lines of the Griffons. And it's an opportunity that goes a begging for the Eagles. So couldn't get past 3 phases where the Eagles on that occasion, which is pretty much of concern when you're trying to win a game of this level. It's a good maul from the Eagles, and it's taken out by Stefan Leonard, who's rumbling forward. Carstens now on the front foot are the Eagles. Edwin Sass, Haynes, he puts it to boot. It's well spotted and great positioning from Dominic Smith, and that's a beautiful kick from the fullback. That's an excellent bit of play from Dominic Smith. First, the positional play in anticipating the kick from Haynes, and then the boot to send the Eagles all the way back down into their area. In fact, they are right on top of the 5-meter area of the Eagles. And they'll have an opportunity here to attack this line out of the Eagles. There's plenty of stoppages in this first half. His boots are being tied. A couple of niggles. Right into the final minute of this first half as you hear the halftime siren goes off here at the Griffons Stadium.
Time on.
Opportunity here for the home side to find a good try here at the last minute of the first half. It's well taken down by Jean-Jacques Pretorius, and it's a rumbling forward from the Griffons. They're smelling blood with the try line right at their noses. Jean-Jacques Pretorius is an advantage here. It's Dominic Smith who tried to stretch for the line, but he was wrapped up by his opposite number, Gene Willemse. Pressure again for the Griffons. Dalport is met well. He's coming from the side, is Nkosi Nofuma. Out to September. They still have the advantage of the Griffons. Juries, it's a good line that from Jean-Jacques Pretorius. Big pass, Dwan Pretorius, the captain. He's a meter short, is the captain. They're still digging for it as Juries out to Mohoje. And they finally find the first try of the afternoon. And it's the home side through their experienced Springbok flanker and Opa Mohoje, who burrows his way forward. And the Griffons Well, they struck at the most crucial period of the game, right on the stroke of halftime. And it's great patience shown by the men from the Free State. The captain, Dwan Pretorius, thought he was almost on the line, but it was met by sturdy defense. But then the patience from Juries to find Mohoje, and all 107 kilograms of him burrows through and finds the try line. And they'll take a lead into halftime with the home side, with a conversion attempt to come from Jaywin Juries. Already converted from out wide. Juries, it's curling around nicely. And at halftime, it's the Griffons who take a very well-earned advantage, particularly in the last couple of minutes of that first half, to go up at halftime by 16 points to 9 against the SWD Eagles. And at halftime here at the Griffon Stadium, it's the Griffons, the home side, up by 16 points to 9 against the SWD Eagles. The second half will come in a couple of minutes. Welcome back to the Griffons Stadium in Welkom in the Free State Province for the start of the second half of this Carling Currie Cup First Division encounter between the Griffons, the home side, and the SWD Eagles, all the way from George. Well, the end of that first half was rather satisfactory for the home side because they did find the try through the experienced Springbok in Opa Mohoje, who gave them a considerable lead in a half that was very much an arm wrestle with Jean Willemse and Jaywin Juries exchanging penalties each before Mohoje found that opening try for the game, which really takes them forward by a lead of 16 points to 9 in this round 5 encounter. Really good to see some of the locals filling up this really nice community stadium in Welkom. It's right in the heart of town here in the Free State town of Welkom. And it's good to see them enjoying some good First Division Currie Cup action here. I mentioned that a couple of school trials or provincial age group trials that took place before the kickoff of this match. And congratulations to those young men that were selected to represent the Free State Province in the various age group provincial competition in the next month or so, which should be really enthralling, and hopefully will bring you some of those age group provincial tournaments across the country right here on Super Sports Schools app. It'll be the Griffons who will get us underway in the second half with Jaywin Juries to start off proceedings for the next 40 minutes. It's a big 40 minutes for the Eagles, who had very precious little possession of the ball in that first half. And whenever they did have the ball, they looked pretty threatening. As Juries gets us underway, and it's into the arms of Ian Alexander. Eddie Jacobs tidies up a loose ball. And, September was the culprit. That occasion is not rolling away. He's the big inside center. Good start for the Eagles as they get the first penalty of the second half. I was mentioning that every time they did get some bit of possession of the ball, the men from George, they did look a little bit threatening through JP Duvenage at fly half. Tried to unleash his backline in Kirsten Haynes in the number 13 jersey and Andre Manuel. But it hasn't really stuck for them. It hasn't really come together the way that they probably would have liked it to come together. Leonard finds Ngosino Fuma.
5 is to the middle. Yes.
That's good work for Michael Bernardi, who's gone through the middle of that maul. He's able to wrap up Stefan Leonard. It's a big fight from the Griffons at that ensuing breakdown. Referee Griffin Colby brings calmness to proceedings. It's big work from Michael Bernardi.
Tackle, the guy broke away.
Went right through the middle of that maul from the Eagles and disrupted it. There's been plenty of stoppages in this game. Referee Griffin Colby's been very patient this afternoon. mentioned that it's pretty mucky in terms of the humidity levels for an autumn's afternoon. It doesn't really get cold until about June, July here in the Free State province. That's when it gets really cold. And it's still very much nice conditions, and conditions where you probably can wear a vest and welcome.
Bye.
So we've seen some handling errors because of the humidity. Dion Carsten's feeds. It's a scrum that's been going backwards all afternoon, and
Off the legs, play on, off the legs.
Carstens does very well to get that away. Carstens again, Duvenacher, Sas, Jean Willemse, holding up Veyer. They've bundled him into touch, but was able to get the ball back in field, but Sas had failed to gather that ball to try and pick it up from his bootlaces. He's lost it forward. It's been an area where the Eagles have really struggled because the Griffons have attacked that scrum all afternoon. He's put big pressure on Sean Robenheim at the back to try and get clean ball for Dion Carstens and his back line. Griffin Colby asking for a bit more stability.
Crouch. Bye. Sit.
It's in from Jaywin Juris. They're holding it up, the Eagles, but it's the pressure eventually tells, but they don't get the penalty from the referee, Griffin Colby, and Soso Kakalashe rumbles it forward. Eagles are trying to make a right old mess of that. It eventually comes out for Buhle Nochekwa. Advantage does come for the way of the Griffons. September has lost it forward. There was a couple of numbers on the short-hand side. If September was able to gather that ball, he could have unleashed Gershon Veyer on the left wing side. They've come back for a high tackle on Buhle Nochekwa. It was actually Sean Robenheimer, the captain of the Eagles, who was being reprimanded by referee Griffin Colby. Jaywin Juris is really pleading with the referee to try and give him more penalties at scrum time for the Griffons, where they're clearly dominant. Andre Delport finds Michael Bernardi. And the short line out is rumbling forward from the Griffons. Jean-Jacques Pretorius joins in. And it's the same maul, says the referee. And they'll have the advantage again here with the Griffons. September! Oh, it's beautiful! From the inside center. He didn't waste any time from that advantage because he spotted a hole inside that defensive lines of the Eagles and he scythed through the gap. And the Griffons strike early again in the second half of this encounter. It's the inside center, Marquardt September. Oh, it's beautiful. It's an absolute peach of a line from Marquardt September. And the swan dive completes it all. Oh, he just picked him up nicely in between PJ Touring and the tight head prop in Gerhard Versace. A complete mismatch. And makes no mistake is Jaywin Curries, as the Griffons now stretching their lead comfortably here at their home stadium. That's almost the perfect line from Marquette September to try and exploit. They're up into the 20s now. It's 23 points to 9. Restart from Duvenachers into Bernardi, into the man who's playing his 50th cap in Jean-Jacques Pretorius.
Use line.
Hoof downfield by Jaywin Curries. Renaud Matthijs had a really good attempt, and it's cleaned up by Delport. It's the Griffons on the front foot. September. JJ Pretorius looked like he was going to offload and held on to it nicely. Griffons are rumbling now with JJ Pretorius heavily involved. Kakalashe shaped to pass, busting his way is Kasoso Kakalashe. September, the try scorer, with another good carry. Big passes, numbers for the Griffons. Matthijs gets rid of one, gives it to Delport. It's the most consistent period of play from either side now as the Griffons rumble forward into the 22. Goes Stefan de Jager. Curries, JJ Pretorius, Duan Pretorius shapes and goes. It's Vaya on the inside. Bootlace tackle needed to be made. It's still Curries. Duan Pretorius stretching! Oh, it's razzle-dazzle stuff from the home side. And they go coast to coast for their third try of the afternoon. And it's that man, the experienced captain, Duan Pretorius, who stretches his arm over the line. And the Griffons are sizzling at Griffon Stadium. How heavily involved was JJ Pretorius in the build-up play to their try. Marquette September himself, the try scorer, lending his experience. The show, the go from Duan Pretorius, and the eventual stretch for the line. They couldn't stop him. And the home side now are surely stretching ahead of the Eagles, who look very much disjointed in the start of the second half. Jaywin Curries also very heavily involved in the build-up play to that try. He'll look to keep his perfect record from the kicking tee is Jaywin Curries. From the touchline, looking to fade it. It's a beautiful kick from Jaywin Curries. Perfect, 100% from the kicking tee. And the Griffons are stretching out wide now. Into the 30s are the home side. Bernardi goes forward. There's the big lock forward. Curries, JJ Pretorius. What a 50th cap he's having. Not numbers for Duan Pretorius to try and pick a pass on the outside. But the Eagles have a reprieve, which Dion Costens tries to set Andre Manuel off on his way. But the Bull wins the race against the flying right winger from the SWT Eagles.
Yeah, but you guys are still in the 10. You have to get picked in. Offside.
It's frantic. Pace has just lifted up a notch in the start of the second half.
Play on.
Over the 15 goes The throw from Dandre Delport, fielded nicely by JJ Pretorius. Who was under pressure was Buhleno Jekwa from the pass from Jaywin Juries. Ketani. Juries is trying to dig it out.
Purple ball. He's strapped, guys. He's strapped. Your number 12 is trapping him inside here. He can't roll. Purple ball. He did.
But they'll get the scrum with the Griffons.
He made a good effort to roll. He made a good effort to roll.
PJ Touring was trapped underneath that ruck. Couldn't move away. It's a really good tempo to this second half from both sides.
Thank you. Crouch. Bind.
It's 30 points to 9 here at the
New props.
Griffon Stadium.
New props. Okay, yeah, it just came on. Let's get the space, please, okay?
It's pretty much a blitzkrieg of tries
Let's get this cap
from
on
the
by
home
please.
side as they go scored
It was fine until you guys came on.
2 in quick succession.
Yeah.
So Marquardt September, the inside center, and then the captain, and Dwayne Pretorius,
Keep that gap, stability.
stretched for the line to score their third.
Crouch.
Add to that last minute try at the end of the first half from Springbok flanker Opamahoje. It's a big scrum that from the Eagles, but Kakalashe manages to tidy up, and he was hit high by PJ Touring. Realized it almost immediately and apologized to the referee.
You guys want the pressure. You guys want the pressure.
Gives Jaywin Juries an opportunity to put in a relieving kick. It's an effective one from the scrum off. Number of changes for the Eagles to try and inject some life into
You guys go straight for
this
the
performance.
Oh, they won't, but the ball came out, okay?
Big frame of Lyle Dilo in the 17 jerseys made his way onto the park. Dalport finds Bernardi. Takalash has lost it forward. There's front row replacements also for the Eagles with Lyle Dilo and Justin Theis onto the park.
Yes, yeah. The ball just came out.
Which means that Gerard Versace's moved from the tight end to the hooker position with Stefan Leonard. His afternoon has come to a close.
Crouch!
Kanyangusan is also onto the park
Bye!
in the 21 jersey. Comes from Western Province, is Kanyangusane, highly rated,
Relax, James.
the
Relax. Okay.
23-year-old.
Right, you gotta get control. Okay. You were leaning over there, okay. Take control.
Surely want to inject a little bit of life into this
Left side, okay. Elbow.
Eagle side.
25.
Regan van der Westhuizen has also made his way onto the park in the number 23 jersey.
Crouch! Bye! Sit!
Eagles get the penalty from that scrum. We've had 2 really good scrums in a row, have the Eagles.
Go on, going down.
It's a front row replacement. It's added a bit of impetus and life to what has been pretty much a struggle in the scrums all afternoon for the visitors from George.
I do.
Phillips boots it into touch. And they find points of their own in this second half. the Eagles. Fasahi, who's moved to the hooker position, will throw into this lineup. Out for Nofuma, he's spilt it forward. But the referee says it's gone backwards and it's cleaned up by Duvanacher. And Nofuma following up, he's lost it forward. Big defense from the home side in the Griffons to try and foil that potential danger from the Eagles. They've come up with the possession of the ball. Rejigged the backline also have the Eagles, because looks like Gene Willems has stepped in at fly half with JP Duvenacher in the 12 jersey. With Regan van der Vestes and alongside him, the replacement outside centre. Jacobs has moved from the left wing to fullback. Push straight this time around with the
Wheeling the
Eagles.
scrum. Wheeling. 17. Wheeling the scrum. 17. Yeah, wheeling.
They've pushed to the side, and the referee Griffin Colby says they've wheeled that scrum. You have to continue to push straight if you are going to get any advantage from the referees.
More square than that. That's still clear on the angle and going around.
It's been a good showing from Opa Mahoje as well, as he also makes his way back to full fitness. He'll surely be wanting to link up with the Cheetahs at some stage in this rugby season. He's had a torrid run of injuries as a Springbok flanker. He stayed loyal though to his home province, born. Juries this time sends it up into the skies. A couple of men coming forward, but they've
First on purple. Knock on first on purple.
Keanu Fers has lost that forward, with AD Jacobs trying to also make the attempt to catch that ball coming forward from fullback for the Eagles. Well, after that frenetic start to the second half, it's died down a little bit as the replacements come on from either side. There's also a new front row for the Griffons. There's Moxham Oli.
Crouch!
Joined the fray in the number 17 jersey for the Griffons. Experienced man is Moxham Oli.
You gotta be square from the start, not on the line.
He's played a lot of rugby. He's played for the Griffons as well, around these parts.
That's much better.
Also represented a number of unions
Crouch!
in South Africa is Moxham Oli.
Bye!
Also been at the Bulls. Still relatively young. Is Moxham Oli, 28 years old. It's a fierce battle at that scrum. The Eagles are really eager to wrestle the advantage in that area of the game. Mentioned before, they've struggled quite considerably this afternoon at scrum time, but they've looked a little bit better in the second half since the introduction of Valdilo and Justin Tace.
Bye! Sit!
And it goes from Jaywin Juris. It's gone down, and the advantage goes to the way of the Griffons. Victoria spotted the gap. But it's closed quickly. And they'll go all the way to the scrum penalty.
Tight head going down and loose it coming on an angle. Yeah.
Well, it's Lal Dilo who's gone down again. The previous scrum, he had scrummed on the angle. At this occasion, he just lost his bind completely. The kick from Jaywin Juris has gone dead. And the option from Sean Robenheimer is to go all the way back for a scrum. Well, it's gotten to a point where referee Griffin Colby has had to have a chat.
You can't push down, elbow up. You can't come on the corner, on the angle, okay? Let's get better, okay, gents? Thank you.
It's asking the Eagles players to show a little bit of an improvement in their scrum performance. Good work from
loose heads, get up square.
Nkosino Fuma, whose afternoon has come to an end. Replaced by Alvin Carstens.
Sit!
And from Dion Carstens, it's off the back from Kanyang Usan, who's added some pace. He's lost that ball, but it's gone backwards, and it's fielded by Carstens. He's kicking forward.
Take it back.
Well, it was a good opportunity for
he touched it. He touched it. Your number 9 touched the ball. Scrum there, ball.
Kirsten Haynes to try and find
Take it back.
a score for the Eagles, but it was presence of mind and quick thinking from Jaywin Juris to get back as quickly as possible and to try and kill that opportunity for the Eagles. But referee Griffin Colby says the ball had been carried back before Jaywin Juris dotted it down inside his own goal area. It'll be a scrum for the Eagles. The burst of pace from Kanyang Usane was really impressive because he got over the advantage line.
Crouch.
Just over 20 minutes left in this encounter.
Sit!
Dion Carstens, and it's taken up by Kanyang Usane. And he had isolated himself, was the replacement loose forward. And the Griffons come away with the possession of the ball.
Holding on.
That's big work from Opa Mahoje. So important for him to get as many minutes under his belt as possible.
Isolated. Holding on.
Olhlumelo Dudula comes onto the park for the Eagles. I said in the build-up to this match, he represented Wits in this year's FNB Varsity Cup. Did really well, did Olhlumelo Dudula for Wits. Exciting prospect is the replacement scrum off.
One stop!
Griffons tried to rumble forward. Off the back comes Delport. Quick ball for Juris to Nochegwa. He's met well by Gene Willemse. Juris, Kakalashe, shape to pass was Dwayne Pretorius, shrugging a number of tackles as the veteran. Makes good meters.
No.
Juris, September. Same way they go. It's the replacement. A lock forward in Hannes Janssen van Rensburg. Pretorius Mkoli. Forward goes
the ball.
Front rower, JJ Pretorius, shrugging his way forward. Wouldn't he love a try on his 50th cap? Around the back comes Marquardt September. Fast ball for the Griffons. Try time. And it's their fourth. D'Andre Delport, the man coming up with the ball. It started with him from that maul and that line out. And it's D'Andre Delport who finds the Griffons' fourth of the afternoon. Some really great interplay between backs and forwards in the build-up to their try. And it's eventually yet another forward who scores in this encounter. How impressive has JJ Pretorius have been in this encounter. Look at him. He almost got past the tackle of Gene Willems on that occasion. On the occasion of his 50th cap. And then it was always going to be front forward ball, with Marquardt September also having a storm of a game. And the presence of mind from that man, Dominic Smith, to realize that he had the power of Opa Mahoje and D'Andre Delport on his outside. Can he fade it around again? Is Zaywin Juries? He can't. And that's the first blemish from the kicking tee from the scrum half. The Griffons now thoroughly in the lead, and deservedly so, because they've gone up by 35 points to 9 with just under 15 minutes left here at the Griffon Stadium. Willems gets us underway again. Mahoje comes forward, is
holding in, double rolling. Tacklers out.
Springbok flanker, but double rolled on that occasion and didn't
double roll from him.
Release the ball.
I was happy with the tacklers there. He double rolled and he held on.
Well, the Eagles need to find some sort of score in this second half, because they've had very little of the ball, but whenever they've had it, particularly in this second half, they haven't really used it to great effect. Keanu Hendricks is onto the park, and his throw is wayward. Booted forward by Soso Kakalashe into the hands of A.D. Jacobs, but is met by Kakalashe. Dudula to the hands of Marnus Buata. Dudula. Again, errors creeping into the game of the men from George. He came through the middle with the Griffons, but they had lost it forward.
But you can't kick the ball.
Dudula. Marnus Buata again rumbling forward. Into Justin Thuis. Dudula sniping is Tumelo Dudula. Gets a great offload. It's Tumelo Dudula. And it's that man, Andre Manuel. Well, what an introduction from Tumelo Dudula, the replacement scrum half. Just out of nowhere, sniped through the hole. And Andre Manuel coming through to follow up that mini break from the man that represented Wits at Varsity Cup level this year. And it's the Eagles who find their first try of the afternoon. And it's Andre Manuel. It literally came from nowhere. Gene Willems adds the extra 2 points. And it's 35 points to 16. Now how about this from Tumelo Dudula? Spotted the mismatch. Moxim Koli a little bit late on coming off that pillar post position. Knew that he was up against a couple of tight forwards, was Tumelo Dudula, and Andre Manuel. The presence of mind to just follow up from the minute break from his replacement scrum half and gather and dot down quite easily. Good restart from Gershwin Veyer.
That's it. Okay.
The Griffons will have the feed at line out. Well, I spoke about Hlumelo Dudula. He had a really good Varsity Cup campaign for Wits. He's just added a bit of spark and spice to proceedings here for the SWT Eagles. It's gone awry for the Griffons, who've made a number of replacements in their pack now. Chedley Venn missing his jumper all the way to 80 Jacobs now, stretching his legs for the first time. But he's lost it forward is 80 Jacobs. He's looking for Regan van der Vesten is in on the inside in the 23 jersey, but just couldn't connect with his fellow outside back. Ethan Williams has replaced Jaywin Juries at scrum half for the Griffons.
Bye. Both backs are killing the space. Gotta work hard, gents, okay?
Carl Jan Kutsia is also onto the park for the Griffons in the 23 jersey. He's lining up out wide on the right wing.
It's your responsibility to keep the gap open. Crouch!
Ethan Williams feed his first scrum for the Griffons. Short-term penalty for the Griffons. It's Lyle Dilo, who's really had an indifferent contribution to the scrums for the Eagles, because it's on his loose head side that weren't binding correctly or weren't packing down to the instructions of referee Griffin Colby.
Crouch! Bye.
Ethan Williams will now, well, he won't, because the penalty's gone the other way. Dula's gone off quickly. It's into Regan van der Westhuizen. Awkward September's dealt with him nicely. Dudula, Duvenaga, Jean Willemse, the tackle from Keanu Vers. Dudula, he's asking his forwards to up the tempos, Hlumelo Dudula, but it's disjointed. Dominic Smith has spotted some real estate, and it's Granville Matthys that's followed up nicely. But Haynes is wrapped up by Matthys. Chadley Venn wraps up for Pagalashe. Smith deputizing at scrum half. Williams. Oh, big collision. That in midfield. But it's been ripped from the hands of Neo Mohapi. Andre Manuel now trying to wriggle his way forward. There's no protection for Hlumelo Dudula at that base of that ruck. And eventually the possession will go to the home side, the Griffons. Well, you can see the frustration on Hlumelo Dudula's face, because he's trying to up the tempo of this game, particularly of the forwards. He's got into every ruck as quickly as possible, but he hasn't found able runners who will carry that ball forward.
Get your partner, please, okay? Leave the tricks. Okay, thank you.
It's a great sponsor, this Carling Black Label.
Space for his head, please, okay?
Carling Champion Cup, the second edition of that as well, was launched this past week in Johannesburg.
Crouch!
Which fans can vote for a squad of players which will take on an Italian A side at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium in Gqeberha in a couple of weeks' time. It's Granol Mateus who's come in from the right wing. Williams sniping. Ethan Williams tussling with his opposite number, and Samuel Ndudula, but it breaks up for the Griffons. As Ludio Williams has lost it forward. 35 points to 16, and surely the home side will keep the unbeaten record intact, particularly here at home at the Griffons Stadium. All sides that have come here to Valcom have left with their tails between their legs, thoroughly beaten. It's been a really good second half performance from the home side.
Second one now, the second one. The second one. Yeah, number one, that's right, yeah. His hand was on the ground as well.
That's been an indifferent scrumming performance from the Eagles, because they've conceded a number of penalties in that area of the game. It looked like it would be better when Alaudilo and Justin Theis were introduced into proceedings, but they too have struggled. Chadley Venn. There's the big, tall frame of Hannes Janssen van Rensburg. And it's a try for Chadley Venn from the ensuing driving maul. And it's surely game, set and match now here at the Griffons Stadium, because they're in for their fifth of the afternoon. Well set maul, with Chadley Venn pulling the strings from the back of that maul. And it's just an easy dive onto the line. The Griffons surely now have wrapped it up as the full-time siren goes here at the Griffons Stadium. Almost lost his footing there, Chadley Venn, but when that maul gathered momentum, there was no stopping the replacement hooker and diving over the line. Kicking duties have gone to Gershwin Ware with his left boot. And he's missed that conversion, but that's all she wrote here at the Griffons Stadium, because it's the home side who've won this round 5 Colin Currie Cup First Division encounter against the SWT Eagles by 40 points to 16. Polished second half performance from the home side, as they scored 4 of their 5 tries inside the second 40 minutes of this encounter, with Opa Mohoje scoring their first at the stroke of half-time, before Chadley Venn, the replacement hooker, wrapping things up on the stroke of full-time here at the Griffons Stadium. And they keep the unbeaten record intact in this Colin Currie Cup First Division competition, because they've gone and foiled everyone at their mercy. It's finished here at the Griffons Stadium at full time. It's the Griffons winning by 40 points to 16 against the SWT Eagles. From my side, Peter Sande Sitaba and the rest of the Super Sports Schools crew, it's a very good afternoon.